All right, so we give Father the glory and the praise on another Sabbath. We thank you for joining us on this Sabbath day to honor Father. We're going to be discussing the dietary law on today, and we're going to break down the dietary law. I don't think it's been broken down like this before to show you the foods and everything and how it affects the body. We're going to talk about the chemicals that you should write down because these chemicals can cause you to sin and not even know it. So, Father, we give Father all the glory and praise for putting this together. In fact, I just got Isaiah 1:19. Let's get it.
Isaiah 1:19.
Somebody.
Right.
Isaiah 1:19.
Wow.
Read it.
Yep.
If you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land.
If ye be willing and obedient, you shall be good to the land. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So we give Father all the glory and praise
Wow.
on this teaching that we're going to do on the dietary law. Little different than what we did before. Little more detailed than what we did before with the dietary law. We give Father the glory. We thank Him for the YouTube channel, our email, our services, street preaching, free counseling,
Yeah, you need to put that up there. Oh, wow.
and healing. Not by appointment sometimes. Our upcoming teachings, I was about to say tomorrow. Next week, marriage and family. We're going to get into the scriptures on what the Most High says about marriage and family, what Christ says about marriage and family, and why marriage and family is so, so, so important. The adoption, the real priest of the Most High, and the two brass mountains. If you don't know what the two brass mountains are in the Bible, we're going to find out what the two brass mountains are. Every teaching that we do is to get us prepared for the wilderness. Every single one of them is to get us prepared for the wilderness. And we have to get prepared for the wilderness because in the wilderness there is no mercy. Okay? All right, our next feast is the Feast of Purim. The Feast of Purim is not a feast that is that the Most High says we should do. The Feast of Purim is an optional feast. We're doing it because of what Esther did.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not giving glory to Esther. We're giving glory to the Most High for putting the Spirit in Esther to come against the institution. Okay, but the Feast of Purim, that's the feast where we give, that we are allowed to give gifts to each other and have a feast and a teaching. Today, why is the dietary law so important? Why is the dietary law so important? Many of our brothers and sisters have problems with their health and take on many diseases. I know in the African American community, the disease is heart failure. Eating all that pork, all that fat back.
Fat back.
It's heart failure.
I ain't going fat back.
Okay?
Fat.
It's bad for you. Okay? In the Bible, Leviticus and Deuteronomy, the Most High tells us what's clean and what's not clean. The Most High tells us what we should and what we should not eat. And I'm going to show you why the Most High says we shouldn't eat certain foods. And what those foods do to our body, even if you fully cook it. Okay? All right. This is going back a little, but the one tree in the midst is Satan, is the devil. Remember in the garden there was the tree of life and the tree of knowledge and good and evil. We already determined that the tree of life was Christ and the tree of good and evil was the devil.
Right.
Okay. There really wasn't any tree sprouting in the garden. It was actually Satan and Christ. Okay? All right. right. It was working. There we go. Anybody know about GMOs?
Uh-huh.
What do you know?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
The genetically modified organisms. I read paper.
Is that the first scripture? Yes, it is. All right, let's start off with Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Let's read it.
In the beginning, the Most High created the heavens and the earth.
So the Most High created everything in the beginning. He didn't create GMOs, or he didn't create foods that'll make us, or chemical compounds that'll make us sick and defile our temples. He created the heavens and the earth. Let's get down to verse 12 and let's read it.
And the earth bore grass, the green plant seeding seed according to its kind, and the fruit tree producing fruit according to its kind, which seed is in it. And the Most High saw that it was good.
And the Most High saw that it was good. He created the grass, he created the green plant, the seedling, the fruit tree, and he saw that it was good. He didn't need he didn't sit up there and say, you know what, we have to put Exacerbane on this or Agent Orange on this corn so I can make it look prettier. Okay? Adam and Eve were vegetarians. Okay? In fact, up until Noah, everyone was a vegetarian. Even the animals were vegetarians. Animals did not eat meat. Lions was not eating antelopes. Tigers were not eating, deers. Everyone was a vegetarian. Think milk is healthy for you, right? Let's see about milk.
Tonight on Hot Topic, the truth behind the headlines from across the country and around the world. They claim milk does a body good, but find out why some brands may be doing more harm than good.
Up next, got milk? You may wish you didn't after tonight's hard target investigation exposes what's really in some of it.
Milk is loaded with powerful growth hormones that should never be in the human body.
Imagine a cow on crack cocaine. That's how author Robert Cohen describes something shot into millions of cows on American farms.
We genetically engineer a hormone that produces more milk.
GMOs again.
While Cohen admits calcium is good for you, he says leafy green vegetables have lots more calcium than milk.
If you look at nature's perfect food, human breast milk, there are 33 milligrams of calcium per 100 gram portion. Potato chips have 40, beans have 50, chickpeas 150, amaranth, a grain, has 267.
Cohen says dairy products are a poor source of calcium for another reason.
Every scientist in the world knows that protein inhibits calcium absorption, and milk is liquid meat. It's protein.
What is in milk that you say is poisonous, and why would the government be covering this up?
But what's in milk? You're drinking body fluids from other animals. 60% of the cows in America have leukemia virus. 80% have something called paratuberculosis. You don't want to eat something with that name, paratuberculosis. You've got irritable bowel syndrome in America. That's what it causes. 4 million American women have irritable bowel syndrome. You're talking about if your doctor said, I want you to eat today 53 slices of bacon because that cholesterol is good for you. You're eating from your dairy products the same cholesterol contained in 19,000 slices of bacon this year. By age 52, 1 million slices of bacon's worth of cholesterol. You don't want that in your body.
A real concern, though, you talk about the bovine growth hormone.
Hormone is the big word here. There are 4,000 mammals. There are 500,000 different hormones. Only one hormone, this is the big secret the dairy industry doesn't want you to know. Only one hormone is identical in all of nature between two animals. It's human and cow. It's the most powerful growth hormone in our body. Drink a 12-ounce glass of milk. Double the only hormone that makes breast cancer grow once you get it.
I just assume it's milk. No, I don't. What's in the milk I'm drinking? What's in it?
If you ask the author of this controversial new book, you may not want to hear the answer.
The milk we're drinking is filled with fat. We know that. Cholesterol. We don't know it's filled with virus, bacteria, powerful growth hormones, proteins that cause a vast array of allergies in the human body. This is not nature's perfect food.
In a book called Milk, the Deadly Poison, Robert Cohen attacks what's long been considered the perfect food, claiming it can be a dangerous brew of chemical, biological, and bacterial agents that may also contain a growth hormone he believes can trigger the growth of cancer.
We know children come into puberty earlier in America. We don't know why. Every sip of milk, they're drinking, in addition to this most powerful growth hormone, 59 different bioactive hormones. What nations have the highest rates of breast cancer in the world? I ask people, they say, United States. Denmark, Norway, Holland, and Sweden. What nations have the highest rates of osteoporosis, crippling bone disease?
Same countries.
Denmark, Norway, Holland, and Sweden. The dairy industry, every dairy farmer, there are probably a few in the audience now, you know that for every 100 pounds of milk you produce, you got to pay 15 cents to the National Fluid Milk Processors. Doesn't sound like a lot of money. What are they doing with that money? It's $500 million a year to paint milk mustaches on the lips of moms.
Robert, welcome to Your Health.
Nice to be here.
Mother says milk is good. What is this? Milk is no good.
Let me tell you about milk. The #1 protein in milk is casein, C-A-S-E-I-N. That's 80% of the protein in milk. That's the same glue they use to put a label on a bottle of milk. That's the same glue they use to hold your wooden furniture together.
So we're drinking glue.
You're drinking glue and you create so much mucus. This much casein, this much mucus.
Okay, we're getting technical. You're using a lot of chemical.
Yeah.
What qualifies you to talk about these?
Well, the greatest controversy in the history of the Food and Drug Administration was the genetic engineering of milk. I'm the only person in America to be invited to meet with a group of top scientists at FDA. They used to do research, $50 word, psychoneuroendocrinology, the study of brain and behavior, how hormones affect behavior. And I uncovered secrets. I opened up a Pandora's box of secrets that the dairy industry wishes had never been opened.
If milk is so bad, then
So
how
he
come
did the
everybody else is so wrong and so brainwashed that it's good for you?
Well, they get calcium Ripken, supposed for his milk mustache. Spike Lee, you got 500,000 kids in the New York area that have asthma. They're drinking this glue every day. Spike Lee, 95% of African Americans are lactose intolerant. How can he wear this milk mustache? This is a message. Money is spent by the dairy industry. If you're a doctor, you call their toll-free number, 800-WHY-MILK. They'll send you $200 worth of free information. You call my toll-free number, 888-NOT-MILK, they'll get the truth. We're getting the message out as one voice to America. Milk does not do the body good.
So, got milk? No.
Not milk.
Not milk. We have a phone number where people can reach you, and what is that?
It's toll-free. It's 888-NOT-MILK.
Robert, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wonder why people are lactose intolerant?
I am. I'm not.
It's because your body cannot absorb that milk, that dairy.
That glue.
Because there's chemicals inside of that stuff that is reacting to your body that makes your bowels just loose like that.
So should we like drink soy milk or almond milk?
Goat milk?
Oh, no.
Can we drink goat milk?
The reason why you shouldn't, anything that's pasteurized, you shouldn't drink it because what happens to pasteurization, nothing gets heat. In order to kill a bacteria, what do you have to do? You have to heat it up. Nothing that goes through pasteurization gets heated up. They don't heat up milk and then freeze it or make it cold. Pasteurization allows the bacteria to stay in the milk or the juice that's pasteurized, and then that bacteria, you're drinking it. And it's causing illnesses in your body. The thing about soy and almond milk, the problem with that is that that's not its natural, that's not the natural.
It's man-made, right?
It's man-made, it's created,
Yeah.
it's pasteurized. So that also is bad. Even though they say soy milk is the best, no, it's pasteurized. Soybeans are not meant to make milk. You can't milk a soybean. You can't milk an almond.
So even when you buy that milk and it says it's natural milk with no chemicals added, they could have gave the cow the chemicals.
Now, there is milk that you can buy, but it's very, very expensive. There is milk that you can buy that hasn't been pasteurized and it hasn't been, there are no GMO cows laced to it. However, I think it comes in a glass bottle too.
Glass jar, yeah.
So yes, there is milk that's out there that you can drink, but the majority of it is bad for you. And the gentleman said something about women's breast milk. Think of it back in biblical days. Did they have cows and did they milk the cows to give to the babies? No.
No.
The woman breastfed the child. Okay?
Mother's
I got more for you.
It's called raw milk.
Yeah, it's called,
It's like $6 a glass.
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah, I was gonna get some of it.
Okay? Genesis chapter 1 verses. Oh, I got more for you. I got more for you. The foods that we think that are good for us, they're not.
Oh, we're gonna have to go throw away our groceries.
Okay? Let's get Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 through 30 and let's read it.
And the Most High said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea."
Over the fish of the sea. Right now, the fish of the sea has dominion over us.
And over the birds of the heavens, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing creeping on the earth.
So we had dominion over everything. Okay? Verse 27.
The Most High created the man in his own image. In the image of the Most High, he created him. He created them, male and female.
He created them, male and female, making us believe that the Holy Spirit, the female deity, is where he gets the idea of making women.
Yes.
28.
And the Most High blessed them, and the Most High said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the seas, and over birds of the heavens, and over every living creature moving on the earth."
Verse 29.
And the Most High said, "Behold, I have given you every green plant seeding seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree which is in it, the fruit of the tree seeding seed, it shall be food for you."
The fruit of the tree seedling seed, it shall be fruit, it shall be food for you. Marijuana does not seed up. So people who sit up there and say, well, this scripture, I could smoke weed. This scripture is not saying you could smoke weed because it says the fruit of the tree seedling seed, it shall be food for you. Apples grow on trees. Lemons grow on trees. That should be fruit for you. Marijuana plants do not seed up and come out like a seed, like a fruit. They do.
They do. They seed up.
Yeah, they do seed up, but
They do
I think
seed
it would
up,
be a
but
controversy because they do.
well,
when it talks about seed of a fruit seedling, it's talking about when it's talking about a tree. It says the fruit of the tree. Marijuana doesn't grow on trees.
It's the plant. It's a tree.
It's not
actually
a wood?
it's a tree. No, it grows. It's bigger. It's not just I think it's like a whole tree, and it buds out. So the budding of it is the fruit, and it's seeds. Studies have shown in the internet. They say.
Okay.
But we know that marijuana was
You don't. It's not for. They smoke it though. This says food.
Yeah.
Stop there.
Oh.
Okay, now let's put that down.
Yeah.
Mark that. All right, Genesis 1:30, and let's read it.
"And to every beast of the earth, and to all birds of the heavens, and to every creeping thing on the earth which is in it, having a living soul, every green plant is for food, and it was so."
And it was so. Okay? So now let's get Genesis chapter 7. Okay? And I'm going back to the beginning because, number one, the dietary law didn't start with Moses. The dietary law started well before Moses. It started here. And let's read it.
"And the Most High said to Noah, You and all your house come into the ark, for I have seen you a righteous one before me in this generation."
Everybody was wicked. Noah was the only one who was outstanding in keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Verse 2.
You shall take to yourself from every clean animal by sevens, male and female.
Every clean animal. So that would say that Noah knew what animals were clean and what animals were unclean.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And from the animal that is not clean by two, male and female.
So the Most High is saying, you know what, these clean animals, eventually they're going to have to eat these clean animals. We're going to read that in Genesis 9. So we're going to need more. The unclean animals, they have specific jobs to do.
Oh, wow.
So those specific jobs, we're only going to have them by two.
I didn't realize that until now.
So the Most High is saying that the clean animals, we need in abundance. Because I know that they're going to need meat to eat. Even though there was no eating meat at this point. Everybody was still vegetarians. But remember when I said earlier that the devil, he plots 2, 3, 4 months ahead of time? The Most High also 2, 3, 4 months ahead of time. Okay? Verse 3.
And take of the fowl of the heavens by sevens, male and female, to keep alive seed on the face of the earth.
Keep alive the seed of the face of the earth. Okay, so the dietary law was instituted well before Noah. I'm sorry, well before Moses. Man's diet after the flood. After the flood, the truce between man and beast was broken. Man became meat eaters, and so did the beast of the field. At this point, there was no meat eaters. Everybody was vegetarians. Okay? But there was a truce that was broken. So now lions would look upon eating meat just like we do. All right, Genesis chapter 9, verses 1 and 2. And let's read it.
And the Most High blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered.
So into your hand are they delivered. Okay? So we have dominion over all the animals. The animals don't act like that. A lion isn't going to sit there and say, you have dominion over me, so I'm not going to attack you because I'm not hungry. It just don't work like that. Verse 3, and let's read it.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat.
Now, people who are learned will take Genesis 9:3 and says, look, see there, every moving thing that liveth will be meat for you. So how is it that we can't eat certain foods? It's because Noah knew in Genesis the 7th chapter what was clean and unclean. The Most High isn't saying all meat is done for you to be eaten. Noah already knew what was clean and unclean prior to Genesis chapter 9 verse 3. That's how you rebuke that.
So, the unclean animals that was on the ark, they were put there to eat the other, there was the garbage disposal.
Some of them.
Because the unclean animals, if the other animals have bowel movements and stuff like that, we know what pigs do, right?
Right.
You know, they eat their own.
Not all animals that were unclean are scavengers. Camels don't eat dung.
Yeah, but
they're unclean.
Well, look at all these animals on the ark. How did they keep clean? You know, it was bowel movement going on.
Right.
They sent pigs to go get it.
Well, that was for pigs, but I'm going to get there in a minute. All right, Genesis chapter 9, verse 5. This is why we don't eat rare food or raw food. Okay? It's against, well, let's read it.
And surely the blood of your lives I will demand. At the hand of every animal I will demand it. And at the hand of man I will demand the soul of a man. At the hand of every man's brother.
So generally, you're not supposed to eat steaks raw. You're not supposed to eat fish raw. Sushi is an abomination unto the Most High.
Wow.
That's raw. Now, I believe there are some cooked sushi,
Yeah,
fish.
we have some, yeah.
But other than that, that raw stuff, no. I'm going to show you something about raw stuff in a minute. Yeshua gave man a dietary law that is to last throughout all generations. But so many people profess to be Christians, say that the dietary law is done away with, that we don't have to follow the dietary law anymore. That because Christ died on the cross, all the laws on the Old Testament were done away with. Of course, that's ignorance. The dietary law should be kept by Israelites and by Gentiles. Those people who want to follow the Most High and they're not Israelites, they're Gentiles, they should follow the dietary law also, even to this day. And I'm going to show you why. Not right now, but I am going to show you why. Leviticus chapter 10, verses 8 through 11. And let's read.
And the Most High spoke to Aaron, saying, You shall not drink wine and fermented liquor.
You shall not drink wine and fermented liquor.
Wow, it's right there.
For those people who are saying, well, drinking wine is okay, no, it's not. Read.
You and not your sons with you, as you go into the tabernacle of the congregation, and you shall not die. A never-ending statute throughout your generations.
A never-ending statute throughout your generations. Wine is not good. We did that teaching on wine, and we said that there were 5 Hebrew words that meant wine. 5 Hebrew words that you can use for wine, but 3 of those words meant juice. Okay? This is talking wine and fermented liquor. The Bible will clearly tell you that it's wrong. When it talks about wine by itself, it's talking about juice. When it's talking about wine and the alcohol, it's talking about fermented liquor. So when Christ changed the water into wine, it didn't say Christ turned the water into fermented liquor.
No. It's not a bootlegger.
Okay? Verse 10 and read.
And to make a distinction between the holy and profane, and between the unclean and the clean.
Make a distinction. Clean animals are holy. Unclean is profane. Verse 11.
And to teach the sons of Israel all the statutes which the Most High has spoken to them by the hand of Moses.
That's what we're doing now. Of those that move upon the ground, which may not be eaten, include such things as bears, lions, tigers, leopards, horse, kangaroo, wallabies, which is a possum, I believe. Possums, donkeys, wombats, beavers, weasels, mouse. You know that there's a place in Arizona where all these animals you can eat.
Ew.
They farm raised them. And that's another thing that I want to talk about a little later. Eating food that is farm raised is going to put you in a grave. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Okay?
People eat prairie dogs.
Prairie dogs, hares, ferrets, the Rox hyrax, that's another marsupial. And whatever does not chew its cud and have divided hooves. Okay? Let's get Leviticus chapter 17, verses 10 through 14, and let's read it.
And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you.
So he's covering everybody. Go ahead.
That eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people.
So those people who sit up there, raw steaks are just so good and juicy. Most High is going to turn his face from you. And you still have the nerve to sit there and pray, Father, I thank him for this wonderful raw steak. Verse 11.
For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul.
It's the blood that makes an atonement. So how are you going to sit up there and eat it, you vampire?
That's just it.
Verse 12, let's read it.
Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood.
That's a commandment given by Father that was never, ever, ever done away with when Christ died on the cross. Go ahead.
And whatsoever man there be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunteth and catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten, he shall even pour out the blood thereof and cover it with dust.
So when you go hunting, you have to dress that thing out in the field.
Oh.
You cannot bring that beast or whatever it is that you have, you can't bring it into the congregation with blood. Still applies.
So you have
They dress it out in the field. We saw a video where they dressed a where they dressed a deer out in the field. They gutted it and everything else. 14.
For it is the life of all flesh, the blood of it is for the life thereof. Therefore I say unto the children of Israel, ye shall eat the blood of no manner of flesh, for the life of all flesh is the blood thereof. Whosoever eateth it shall be cut off.
Going to be cut off. Well, I like my steak raw. I don't like all those. You're going to be cut off. I like my fish raw. I like it when it just dangle in there and, you see the little organs. And I like that. No. You can't eat that stuff raw.
What about these different survival shows they be showing people and they go fishing and they'll get it and they'll cut the head off and just eat it?
No. You're not supposed to do that. Now. You're not supposed to do that. Deuteronomy 14:3.
Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing.
Very clear. You don't need the NIV to discern that. You don't need the NIV to translate thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. We're going to show you what the abominable things are that you shouldn't eat. First, definition for abominable. Very bad, poor, or inferior. Okay? Here we study. Let's get precepts to Deuteronomy 14:3. Okay? First, everybody knows here about Monsanto, right?
Did you ever look that up? Oh, I was telling, who's this one I was telling you about.
Okay? If you haven't learned about Monsanto, you will in a minute.
Hey kid, what's up? Do you hate having to eat those healthy vegetables? Is nutrition getting you down? Well, cheer up! Help's on the way. Say hello to GMO, genetically modified organisms. You can eat them all day. Not only will mealtimes be extra delicious, they'll also contain oodles and oodles of insect genes and fish genes. Just think of all that extra yummy goodness. But that's not all. We're irradiating everything you eat, so you'll never have to absorb a single nasty nutrient ever again. And don't forget about pesticides. Plenty of those. Yes, sir. Like to know more? Well, let's take a look. Corn is a staple food used in many, many ways throughout the food industry. Growing it takes time, money, and lots of pesticides to protect the crops from bugs, vermin, and fungus. Now, some people think that pesticides made by big biotechs are harmful for humans, animals, and the environment, but that's okay. We've solved that problem. Our GM scientists are putting the pesticide right inside the crops. That's right. Isn't that amazing? The food itself will kill those pesky critters stone cold dead. Now, some people are worried about the bees dying off. Busy bees pollinate billions of dollars worth of crops, vegetables, fruit, flowers, you name it. But some insects are just plain greedy. They'll eat everything in sight if you don't watch out. GMO to the rescue! Thanks to genetic engineering, the plant produces a toxin from the newly inserted bacterium gene. The toxin kills insects, but not humans. The Bacillus thuringiensis toxin destroys the insects' stomachs. Ouch! We have absolutely no testing results to prove that these are safe, but they are. Trust us, we care. And because the pesticides are already growing right inside the crop, GM plants can withstand more weed killer than the old-fashioned organic crops. No weeds, no bugs. More food, more profit. What's not to like? But that GMO goodness isn't just about corn. There's rice, soybeans, cotton, alfalfa, soybeans, papaya, soybeans, oilseed rape. Is that all? Not on your life. GM is the gift that keeps on giving. The possibilities are endless. Just imagine you're a limey Brit trying to grow strawberries in the frozen wastes of Scotland land.
Listen to this.
Well, in the future, why not insert a gene from a codfish who's built to thrive in the icy North Atlantic? Result, frost-resistant strawberries. Wow, I want it now. The effects of GMO food on humans aren't as tried and tested as we'd like, but there are much more important things that need our attention right away. The population is exploding. How will we feed everyone? We need food security, and we need it now. But just because tests on rats eating genetically modified potatoes showed them growing slower after 2 or 3 generations and developing fertility problems, and some organ development issues, some goody two-shoes scientists and whiny campaigners worry that that might happen to humans too. Well, let's wait and see. In the meantime, the biotech companies can rake in the profits that will fund more exciting GMO experiments. We love farms. We love them so much, we want them all. We want to persuade every potential partner farmer to forget all about that silly organic farming and get with us on the GMO bandwagon. Whenever we change the natural gene sequence of any plant, we get a patent ASAP. It's our invention after all. Hey, the new GMO plants are our intellectual property. We aim to achieve total control of the seed. Got an organic farm nearby? Great! Soon everything you grow will be enhanced by the altered genes from our GM crops. Isn't nature wonderful? And what better way to spread the GMO goodness around than the wind? Accidental cross-pollination isn't our problem, and it's no excuse for profit loss. And once our genes get into your crops belong to us. Yep. Well, it's our technology. If you're going to use it, you've got to pay. We don't care how it got there. When we own the food, we will own life. So those naughty farmers better not save their seeds for next year's crop. If they do, we'll know. We'll tie up farmers for years in the courts. Farmers will just have to buy more seeds next year, and more pesticides too. It's win-win all around. If you want to fight us, we might just take your farm as a settlement. But we're human. Just. Thanks, Mother Nature, but we'll take it from here.
That is just so
we're doing all this for you, Johnny. Don't forget that. And if it's all too much for you to take in, don't worry. We've got it all figured out. By the time you're a teenager, it'll be GMO a go-go. We just need to make sure that our army of lobbyists keep GMO labeling off any products. Why spoil consumers with unnecessary choices after all? And if old Farmer Joe decides to fight us, we have a ready-made network waiting to take care of him. Can you say revolving door? Yep. Some judges used to be lawyers who worked for us, and we make sure that they take care of business. And legislation, no problem either. Former GM industry lawyers also work for the food regulation bodies. And we have enough cash in our pockets to lobby any issues all the way to Saturn and back. Some people still think government food regulatory bodies are serving their needs. Hilarious. We are making a killing in India. Literally, hundreds of thousands of farmers have been organically recycled to dodge debts that they owe us. BT cotton doesn't always give strong yields, and bollworm, cotton's main pest, seems to be gaining resistance to our transgenic BT cotton. This can mean bad crops and no revenue for some. We say, once you're in, you're in. However, under Indian law, any debts die with the farmers, so farmer suicides stop debts being passed on to any remaining family. But I'm confident that we can lobby that issue too. When we own all of the cotton varieties, and we will, suicides will be of little concern, because we'll be the only cottonseed suppliers. Duh! Concerns have been raised in Europe over problems with GMO pig feed causing sterilization and growth problems, but we have years of marketing left before that's proved, and we'll find a way to work with the Danish pig farmers banging that drum. So heat up your veggies, Johnny. There's going to be plenty for everyone for the right price.
That is just ridiculous.
This is what we're dealing with.
Wow.
This is what we're dealing with. And the food, they don't care about poisoning the food. Letting the pesticides in the food grow inside the food. So you go to the store thinking that you're getting all this wonderful food. And it's pesticides, it's got all kinds of chemicals in it.
Insect.
You heard about the strawberries.
Cod, yeah.
And they're injecting something from the codfish to strawberries to help them not freeze. Isaiah 65:4. Let's read it.
Which remain among the graves, and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh, and broth of abominable things is in their vessels.
Mm-hmm. Ezekiel 4:14.
Then said I, Ah, Lord, thy power, behold, my soul hath not been polluted, for from my youth up even till now I have not eaten of that which dieth of itself, or is torn in pieces. Neither came their abominable flesh into my mouth.
So Ezekiel is saying, Father, I have not. They were very strict on the dietary law. Very strict. And they said, Ezekiel is saying, I have not eaten anything that dieth. You should not. You're not supposed to eat or touch anything that dies. Or is torn in pieces. He was not eating wild animals, lions and all that. You're not supposed to eat predators. There's a reason why. Neither came abominable flesh into my mouth, where we jumped on pigs enough. I have something on that though. Romans 14:14. And let's read it.
I know, and am persuaded by the Lord Yeshua, that there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean.
If you're going to say that it's unclean, it's unclean. Matthew 5, verse 17 and 18.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
That's for every single Christian who sit up there and says that Christ came to abolish the law. Go ahead.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled.
So he's saying, heaven and earth, jot and tittle, no wise shall pass from the law till it be fulfilled. The law is going to continue until it be fulfilled. And we all know when the law will be fulfilled. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get some precepts to Matthew 5:17, Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 24, and let's read it.
Ye have been rebellious against the Most High from the day that I knew you.
You have been rebellious against the Most High from the day that I met you. You want to continue to eat whatever it is that you want to eat. You're rebellious. Okay?
Wait, what's that Deuteronomy?
That was Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 24. Next precept, Romans 10:4, and let's read it.
For Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth.
Christ is the end of the law to righteous. If you're righteous, you're following the law.
Right.
Very simple. Okay? Galatians 3:24, and let's read it.
Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Christ, that we might be justified by faith.
The law was to bring us to Christ. Once we became with Christ and started living righteous, the law does not pertain to us because we are following the law.
Right.
If you don't follow it, then the law applies to you, which is death.
So when a person rejects the Most High, they reject Christ, they reject the law.
Correct. All right, precepts to Matthew 5:18, Luke 16:17. And let's read it.
And it is easier for heaven and earth to pass than one tittle of the law to fail.
Easier for heaven and earth to pass than for one tittle. The tittle is the smallest letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Okay? All right. Now that we get an understanding of how this came about, and now that we understand that the Dietary Law came before Moses, let's go into the Dietary Law, the Damascus document. I want to talk about this for a second. The Damascus document is also called the Zanderite. What is it? It's right there. First page.
Zandakite.
The Zandakite, the fragments of the Zandakite work, which is the fragments from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay? We all are familiar with the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? Okay? So this was a fragment from the Dead Sea Scrolls. This was, that was found. This is the Damascus document, and this thing has a lot of information in it. And I'm going to read through this because it's going to help me next week's teaching. The Damascus document, chapter 14, verses 12 through 16. And let's read it.
No man shall make himself abominable with any living creature or creeping thing by any of them, or of the defilement of beasts or any living creature that moveth in the waters. Nor shall fish be eaten unless they were split alive and their blood was shed. But all the locusts after their kind shall come into fire or into water whilst they are still living, for this is the manner of their creation. And all wood and stone and dust which are polluted by the uncleanness of man are polluted like them. According to their uncleanliness shall be unclean he who toucheth them, and every instrument, nail or peg, and the wall which is with the dead, and the house shall be unclean. like the uncleanness of an instrument of work.
So all that is basically saying that you have your clean and you have your unclean. You have to make sure that you're eating what's clean versus eating what's unclean. Gives you some example about bees and locusts. Bees are unclean. You are not to eat bees.
So what about their honey?
What do you think?
I would think the honey would be unclean too.
The honey that's produced by the bees?
I don't know. If the bees are unclean, I mean, what y'all think?
Isn't it like the actual bee? Like the honey doesn't come from the actual bee. It's just
So let me ask you a question.
That's like eat
Whale sperm.
That's
Is
nasty.
that clean or unclean? Is that clean or unclean?
It's unclean.
It's unclean because it came from an unclean animal, right?
Right.
So,
Honey.
I just thought of something.
Oh, Father, forgive me.
okay.
I've been eating honey on my chicken.
Honey doesn't come from bees.
Where does honey come from?
I thought honey like grows on its own. I know honey comes from bees. I thought bees just eat honey.
Adriana, reach over there and hit her. Go hit her for me.
Hard.
She said she didn't know honey come from bees. She didn't know honey came from bees.
No, like I don't say. Never mind. Maple, like maple syrup. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to get into artificial stuff also. Land animals. Let's talk about that really quick.
Oh, I got it. I can't eat honey.
I think we saw this video before, so I won't play the whole thing.
Oh. Why are you so noisy?
There are reasons that the meat of the pigs become more saturated with toxins than many of its counterpart farm animals. The first reason has to do with the digestive system of a pig. Pigs are the filthiest animals on earth, with the most parasites and diseases than any other animal that mankind consumes. Pigs are commonly associated with eating not only their own feces, but of other animals and humans. In parts of the third world, it is the best scavenger known that exists in the villages, that do not have modern toilets, and the villages excrete in open air. Excreta is cleared by pigs. Pig farm with 5,000 animals produces as much fecal waste as a city of 50,000 people. A pig digests whatever it eats rather quickly, in up to about 4 hours. On the other hand, a cow takes a good 24 hours to digest what it's eaten. During the digestive process, animals, including humans, get rid of excess toxins as well as other components of the food eaten that could be dangerous to health. Pigs' bodies contain many toxins, worms and latent diseases. Although some of these infestations are harboured in other animals, modern veterinarians say that pigs are far more predisposed to the illnesses than any other animal. This could be because pigs like to scavenge and will eat any kind of food. Since the pig's digestive system operates rather basically, many of these toxins remain in the system to be stored in more than adequate fatty tissues. Pigs also do not have any sweat glands. Sweat glands are a tool for the body to get rid of toxins. This leaves more toxins in the pig's body. The pork and swine industry has been continually plagued, and continues to be so to this day, by a wide variety of hazardous infections and diseases. Even pigs that are carefully reared in pig farms are still affected. According to the surprising new investigation on pigs that were raised in the US, 69% of all raw pork samples tested, nearly 200 samples in total, were contaminated with dangerous bacteria, Yersinia enterocolitica, which causes fever and gastrointestinal illnesses with diarrhea, vomiting and stomach cramps. Pigs carry a variety of parasites in their bodies and meat. Some of these parasites are difficult to kill, even when cooking. This is the reason there are so many warnings out there about eating undercooked pork. Pork poses certain health risks from bacteria and resistant bacteria that causes infection and viruses. Shocking new research has shown that millions of people are living with parasites inside them from eating pork. Here are some of the deadliest parasites found in humans that consume pork. Pork tapeworm parasite, Actinia solium. The pork tapeworm is number 1 in top 10 list of foodborne parasites in the world, affecting 50 million people worldwide, killing 50,000 people each year worldwide. Though these figures are both likely to be underestimated according to the researchers. Tapeworm infections are common in Asia, Africa, the Philippines, South America, parts of the southern Europe and pockets of North America. The pork tapeworm can affect your heart, brain, lungs and diaphragm. In 60% of the diagnosed cases of pork tapeworm, the victim has cysts inside inside the brain, and with the cysts in the brain you get seizures, coma, hallucinations, or even possible death. The pork tapeworm forms cysts inside the tissue of the pig. When the human eats pork, they get infected. Adult tapeworms living inside the intestines of humans produce up to 50,000 eggs each. In the human gut, the cysts form into an adult tapeworm, where these can grow up to several meters long. The adult worms lay eggs that have passed into human feces. If the pig eats the feces, the pig grows cysts inside its muscles, tissues, and the life cycle repeats. Tapeworm larvae, brain parasites, is an increasingly serious public health problem around the world. Pork tapeworm larvae can create cavities in the brain and other parts of the body tissues, where their tiny bodies can grow sometimes into tapeworms 2 to 7 meters long and can live up to 25 years in the human body. CT scans have shown affected patients having so many wormholes in the brain, making it appear similar to a starry sky. Chronic headaches and pork tapeworms. New research has shown that the cause of chronic headaches, such as migraines and tension, headache symptoms may be a sign of pork tapeworm inside the brain. The most common cause of adult onset epilepsy in the world is caused by pork tapeworm. 50 million people around the world are affected by epilepsy, many of which are caused by pork tapeworm. It can cause brain tumours, depression, dementia, aneurysm. Aneurysm occurs when part of the blood vessel, artery or cardiac chamber swells, potentially causing headaches, dizziness, seizures, other neurological disorders and sudden death. This one parasite alone should be enough to stop you from eating pork.
I think so. We saw that video before, but just want to put it out there. Leave the swine alone. Leviticus chapter 11, verses 2 through 3. Okay? And let's get into the dietary law.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud amongst the beasts, that ye shall eat.
Okay, so he gives us and tells us what we should eat. Okay? Precepts to Leviticus 11. Also in Deuteronomy 14 is the dietary law. And let's read Deuteronomy 14, verses 4 and 5. We're talking about land animals. And let's read it.
These are the beasts which ye shall eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, and the roebuck.
Hart is a deer. Roebuck is a deer. Go ahead.
And the fallow deer, and the wild goat, and the
pygrag.
That's
a big deer.
And the wild ox, and the
chameos. That's another big deer. In fact, there they are.
Okay.
I mean, a goat, rather. The chameos is kind of like a goat. The pygrag is a deer.
Why is it walking off a cliff?
Okay. Those are clean. You can eat those. They have the split hoof, and they chew cud, meaning they chew grass. There's a reason why the Most High specifically said the ones that split the hoof and chew cud.
Is it because they sweat?
Yeah, they sweat.
So a dog is unclean because it sweats from the mouth, not the...
Well, a dog doesn't have a split hoof either.
No,
who would eat a dog? That's so cruel.
Romans 14:2, and let's read it.
For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs.
So that's in the New Testament Christians. For one believeth that he may eat all things. Another, so that's a person who believes that they can eat all things. It's not true. 1 Corinthians 8:8.
But me commendeth us not to the Most High, for neither if we eat are we the better, neither if we eat not are we the worse.
So the Most High, the meat that commanded us, not to the Most High, for neither if we eat we are better, neither if we eat not we are worse. Okay. Colossians 2, and this is talking about clean food. It's not giving you a credence to eat unclean food. Colossians 2:16-17.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat, or in drink, or in respect of a holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days.
So that's if you're keeping the law statute, if you're keeping the dietary law, if you're keeping the holy days, and if you're keeping the Sabbath. That's what that means. It doesn't mean I'll sit up here and I had a bacon and shrimp sandwich. You can't judge me. That's not what it's saying.
Ew.
Verse 17.
Which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ.
Body is of Christ. Okay? I have something on shrimp later. Deuteronomy 14:6.
And every beast that parteth the hoof and cleaveth to the cleft unto two claws and cheweth the cud amongst the beast, that ye shall eat.
You shall eat cows, deer, elk,
What does
goats.
it mean, cleave the lamb? Cleave the cliff. What's that?
That means split hoof. Okay? Parteth the hoof and cleave the cleft into two claws and cheweth the cud. Cleaveth the cleft into two claws.
Like that little line that splits that one foot into like two little things.
Well, parteth the hoof.
Yeah, oh.
Examples: cow, ox, bulls, rams, deer, goat, sheep, lamb, buffalo. Those are animals, land animals that you can eat because they chew cud.
We need to get pictures and recognize these people for the wilderness.
I
Where
think
we
you know
don't have to.
like. Oh look.
The only unclean animal is pig.
They look too cool to want to eat.
Yeah, right. You hungry, you want
Hey,
to
that
eat
fur though.
Okay? So these are all clean animals. Cow, buffalo, bull, bison, goat, ram, and deer. Reason why is because their stomachs and everything, they take in grass. So if they're eating, they're herbivores, they're eating grass, so therefore there's no toxins from other animals to infiltrate. They don't eat feces.
Yeah,
Only the ones from the grass that we put in there.
Okay? They don't eat feces. They don't eat other animals, so the blood of other animals isn't in their muscles.
Yeah.
Okay? Birds. Let's have some GMO chicken.
Whoa, that looks creepy.
Initially had the reports 2 years ago, and we saw a photograph that we thought had been doctored, but on further investigation it wasn't. We didn't know whether it was a chicken or it was particularly
There's a reason
ill or
why they
something
have
like
that
that.
chicken
So
like that.
we came here to investigate. We followed email trail. These chickens are being modified. It's a special modification that destroys the ability of them to grow in feathers. Essentially, so that they can be packaged instantly.
Why is the wings way back there?
This problem isn't going to go away. Is there money involved?
There's one chicken
No, for free.
franchise that really invests in these.
Ready Plug. See that logo, Ready Plug?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody see it. I'm not gonna get it.
Don't eat no more at KFC.
I
I'll tell you
figured.
that right off the bat.
I knew you was gonna say that. Cause they chicken tastes nasty or
Even though chicken is a clean food, what's at KFC is not chicken. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 11, and let's read it.
Of all clean birds you shall eat.
Of all clean birds ye shall eat. And let's go down to verse 20.
But of all clean fowls you may eat.
of all clean fowls ye may eat. Okay? In Deuteronomy verses 11 and 20, it tells you of all the clean birds and the clean fowls. It talks about the sparrow. You can eat sparrow. It talks about the dove. You can eat dove. Turkey and chicken. You can eat those birds.
The dove remind me of the Holy Spirit. I can't nothing.
That sparrow's a little bit too small to get full.
Let's talk about insects. We're going to get to the unclean ones in a minute. But the Most High gave us insects that we are allowed to eat. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 21 and 22. And let's read it.
Yet these may ye eat of every flying, creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth.
All right, we're talking about our grasshoppers and our locusts. Go ahead.
Even these of them you may eat, the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind.
They all are on the ground and they fly up. Those are clean. You can eat those. Okay? Precepts to Leviticus 11:22, Matthew 3:4, John the Baptist. Let's read.
And the same had his remnant of camel's hair, and a leathern girdle about his loins, and his meat was locust and wild honey.
So meat, locust, and wild honey.
So food eat wild honey.
Well, John the Baptist, I thought we couldn't eat honey, but
I never said we couldn't eat honey.
we can eat wild honey. The other honey that we buy in the store is pasteurized. So we
Go to
should eat
Sprouts and get your honey.
They have wild honey there, but it's not clean.
Judges
Got
6:5.
no stuff in it.
Let's read.
For they came up with their cattle and their tents, and they came as grasshoppers for multitude. For both they and their camels were without number, and they entered into the land to destroy it.
Okay. Jeremiah 46:23.
They shall cut down her forest, saith the Lord thy power, though it cannot be searched, because they are more than grasshoppers and are innumerable.
Nahum chapter 3, verse 17.
Thy crown are as the locust, and thy captives as the great grasshoppers, which camp in the hedges in the cold day, but when the sun ariseth they flew away, and their place is not known where they are.
Okay. So grasshoppers and beetles are clean.
Did you eat a grasshopper?
You can eat those.
Maybe deep fries.
Take the head off.
I had a chocolate covered locust before.
Ew, really?
The big cicadas, the one that go like tss.
Cicadas are clean. You can eat those.
Was it
This
good?
big, too.
All right, fish. Tilapia is, let me just show it.
Ooh, I don't even like fish.
It's a very interesting and very dirty story.
This is basically where wastewater treatment begins. We have about 300,000 tilapia and carp in here, right, to get rid of a lot of the particulates.
Particulate poop.
Yes. Once they reach up to harvest size, we harvest them out and sell them.
The fish that help purify the dirty water by eating uneaten food and poop will then be sold on the market for people to eat.
Right, exactly.
That's fantastic. Al is basically in the toilet right now, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
I'll get him with him.
Yes, well, good luck.
Oh, yeah. No.
Oh!
That's a sewer. Human poop, and guess what they use to clean it? Tilapia.
So we can't eat tilapia no more.
I would not suggest to eat tilapia.
So they're taking clean animals and making them unclean. So even the clean animals are unclean for us to eat.
Well,
Tilapia was clean.
if you find out about it, yeah, tilapia is clean.
But how they're
They're using it
use them. Better go fish your own
unclean.
self.
Remember, the Bible says that anything that's unclean, if it touches it, if something is clean and it touches something that's unclean, it's what?
defiled.
Unclean. So, no, I would not, and he said at the end that they use the tilapia to sell, to eat.
So listen to this. What was that this morning we saw about, it was an animal that has E. coli now. And you was like,
some deer in London.
So even, Europe, one of them places.
Yeah, in Europe.
So they're contaminating their clean foods now.
You have to look at tilapia. Tilapia is basically the pigs of the sea. They're disgusting. So you have to be.
I thought they were clean though.
They're clean because they have the scales and they have the fins. However, if they touch anything that's unclean, they are unclean.
Well, I wouldn't want to eat nothing that eats poop. Anyway.
Great. Tilapia is very bad for you. Okay? I would not recommend you eating tilapia.
Is there any good fish?
Yes, they are. We're going to talk about them.
Cooper? Salmon is unclean, they don't have scales.
Salmon is clean.
The salmon is clean. Well, this is going to jump ahead. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 9. And let's read it.
These shall ye eat of all them that are in the waters. Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters and the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
Remember when I said you should stay away from farm-raised anything?
Mm-hmm.
Tilapia, if it says farm-raised, you want to stay away from it. Because farm-raised means that they actually came out of your sewer. And were probably eating your dung.
Or your brother's.
Just like how people let their dog lick them in the mouth, and we know dogs eat their own
vomit.
Okay.
And vomit.
All right, so let's get precepts to Leviticus 11 and 9. We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 14, verses 9 and 10. And let's read it.
These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales shall ye eat.
All that have fins and scales, there's a reason why. Go ahead.
And whatsoever hath not fins and scales, ye may not eat. It is unclean to you.
The reason why is because nitrogen comes out of the fish's body through the gills. So if that fish has only skin, then it's housing a lot of nitrogen inside of it. And nitrogen is bad for the human body.
Well, yeah, that's why they tell a lot of women that's pregnant to be careful on their fish intake. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be careful.
So examples: whiting, bass, perch, salmon, snapper, sardine, goldfish, minnow, and tuna.
So we can get sardines on our pizza?
Wait, we can eat goldfish?
I'm gonna go buy
They're clean.
goldfish.
I mean, I wouldn't sit up there and snack on them, but
Snack on them?
I mean, as far as goldfish. Okay? Minnows. There was a lot of minnows in Lake Placid.
Is that the thing?
But I wasn't just going to sit up there and start grabbing them and start eating them.
No, it says you have to split them.
Right, because then you're eating the blood.
Right.
Yeah.
So you are those tiny?
Minnows, yes. So that's whiting up at the top. Bottom is bass. Upper right is perch, and then bottom is sardine.
People eat sardines.
Let's get to the unclean animals. The unclean land animals. Leviticus chapter 11, verses 4 through 8. And the Most High didn't say not to eat these because he was racist against these animals. There's a reason why we cannot eat certain animals. There's a reason why we can't eat certain animals. Let's get Leviticus 11, 4 and 8, and let's read it.
Nevertheless, these shall ye not add of them that chew the cud, or of them that divideth the hood as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hood, he is unclean unto you.
Camels, horses. They do not divide their hoof, but they chew cud. It's unclean. Verse 5.
And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you.
I think I have a picture of a coney next. Verse 6.
And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean to you.
Rabbits. Go ahead.
And the swine, though he divideth the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean unto you.
So even though pigs have the split, they don't chew cud. They're unclean.
They eat everything.
Verse 8.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean unto you.
We're going to go a little deeper with Leviticus chapter 11, verse 8. The flesh you shall not eat. The carcass, you can't touch them. They are unclean to you. That also goes for your snakeskin boots. They are unclean unto you.
So
you are not to touch them.
Even like petting zoos, you shouldn't touch those animals?
Nope.
What? You mean pigs?
Yeah.
No.
They have pigs and snakes and stuff at the petting zoo.
No.
I touched a snake when it was little.
Okay. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Was it you?
The rainforest cat.
Okay. Precepts to Leviticus 11 and 6. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 4 and 5. Let's read it.
For every creature of the Most High is good, and nothing to be refused, if it be received with thanksgiving. For it is sanctified by the word of the Most High and prayer.
That's where Christians get where if I just pray over my food, I can eat it. Once again, this is talking about clean food. Yeah. It's not talking about unclean food. I could just get my lobster plate and just pray over it. No. It don't work that way. And I got something for you if you like lobster.
Dog's neck. He that offereth an oblation as if he offered swine's blood. He that burneth incense as if he blessed an idol. Yea, they have chosen their own ways, and their soul delighteth in their abominations.
So they enjoy their pig, they enjoy their shrimp, they enjoy their lobster. Drinks. They enjoy their diet drinks, they enjoy their caffeine-filled drinks. They enjoy it all. They are an abomination because their soul is an abomination. Isaiah 66:17, and let's read it.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination of the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord thy power, higher the power.
Okay? So those that are eating swine's flesh behind trees and eating mice, which is unclean, it's an abomination. Okay, let's get Isaiah 52, verse 11, and let's read that.
Depart ye, go ye out from thence, touch no unclean thing. Go ye out of the midst of her, be ye clean, that bear the vessels of the Lord thy power, higher thy power.
Okay, so again, do not touch the unclean things. Okay? Acts chapter 15, verse 29.
That ye abstain from meats offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication, from which if ye keep yourselves, ye shall do well. Fare ye well.
I'm starting to fade out a little. All right,
Wait,
so
when you have a chicken, and you know how to say you wring that chicken neck, is that strangling the chicken?
That's strangling the chicken. You're not supposed to do it.
You're supposed to chop the head around.
Watch your head around.
Because the animal should not, if you're going to eat meat, the animal cannot suffer.
Okay.
That's why. If you're strangling the chicken, then the animal is suffering.
But wringing the neck is...
Wringing the neck is strangling. Correct. Romans 14:17.
For the kingdom of the Most High is not meat and drink, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Ghost.
And that's what Christians will use to say, see, it don't matter what I eat and drink. If I'm righteous, well, how can you be righteous if you're not following the law, which the Most High says, you shall not eat swine's flesh, it is abomination. If you're not following the Most High, then how can you sit and call yourself righteous? Colossians chapter 2, verse 21 and 22.
Touch not, taste not, handle not.
Touch not, taste not, handle not. Go ahead.
Which all are to perish with the using, after the commandments and doctrines of men.
So you're going to follow the doctrines of men. Christ abolished the law when he died on the cross, so I can eat whatever I want.
The Bible never says that.
Never says it.
Never.
Well, I said, touch not, taste not, handle
Touch not, taste not, handle not. Okay? Hebrews chapter 9, verse 10. Let's read it.
Which stood only in meats and drinks, and divers washings, and carnal ordinances imposed on them until the time of Reformation.
You're supposed to wash your food before you eat it.
Oh!
You're supposed to wash the meat before you eat it. Now, of course, ground beef, you can't wash that. Okay, let's not be stupid.
Can I wash my ground chicken?
Chicken, you're supposed to wash it. Your steaks, you're supposed to wash it.
Now you know what they tell you in food services. They tell you that you might as well cook your food right out the pack, because if you wash it, you're spreading E. coli across the kitchen. So just washing it is worse because it's